Hello and welcome to another episode of the Christian Reeve podcast. Today, my guest is a fellow YouTuber. He's a traveller, so he travels around the world to various exotic locations, which I'm sure right now many of us would love to be doing. And he's also a graphic designer as well with his own business. So there's a lot of different things that this guy is involved with. He's very active on YouTube like myself. He's always trying lots of different things. Hello and welcome to the show. How you doing?
Hello, thanks for having me on. I'm doing great. It's a nice day for it.
I know. I was thinking that when I was getting ready for this podcast, I was like, damn, it's really hot. And then I was kind of thinking about a couple of things here, because I know that you're a ginger man. So
yeah.
And my dad is ginger, and I think I don't know if it quite works this way, but I've definitely got I burn in the sun. Like for whatever reason, if I use suntan lotion, it's just, it's non-effective. So I know the feeling, man.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, the slightest bit of sun, you're asking to be burnt as a ginger.
It just sucks, doesn't it? I mean, I've definitely got the gene. I know that, because when I grow my beard out, it goes ginger, which is amazing. But anyway, the point being that I remember years ago I went on a holiday, and it was the only time in my life I've tried to do proper sun tanning, because I like to just go out and have fun and do stuff. But we were with some boring people, so they wanted to just sit on the beach, and I was like, oh, okay, well, let's give this a try. So laid down on the beach, put factor 50, whatever the fuck, just some really strong shit on, and it didn't work. I just burned to a crisp, and then showering for the next 2 weeks was probably one of the most painful experiences of my life. So
Did you get all, like, blistered up from it all then?
Not quite, but it just, like when you go in the shower and it just burns, even with cold water. Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah, no, I definitely know that feeling. It's
I feel
a regular occurrence.
Okay, let's get right into it. So, what made you decide to become a YouTuber?
Well, it was a few years ago, so we're talking, I think I started my channel in
2016?
the current channel that I'm working on, Project Zeb.
Yes.
I think I started that in late 2015.
Oh, 2015, okay. Yeah, the channel, I think it said around probably early 2016, but so you had a channel before that, is that right?
Yeah, I've sort of played around with YouTube, like, over the years. I think my oldest channel goes back to I think it was 2008. I'll have to check on that.
Okay, so you've been doing it a very long time then.
Yeah, I used to sort of just upload, like, other people's music.
Okay, yeah.
As, like, a sort of way to build a little community in the background. And just connect with like-minded people. Yeah,
it's funny actually. I was talking to another guest on the show about something similar to this. We were talking about how YouTube used to be able to, host things like movies and such, where, well, at least ones you didn't have to pay for anyway. And we're kind of getting into the copyright problems and why that's not possible anymore. But yeah, it's interesting now that you say that, because I've been using YouTube probably since it started, and I remember those days. I remember uploading silly videos and not really having a strategy or thinking about it. You just did it for fun. It was just like, I put some stuff I like on here, put my own shit on here, like whatever. Sometimes it assisted other things, like if you had like a MySpace, I suppose you could like embed a video onto the profile and, maybe just have like a video. Like I did skateboarding when I was younger, so I'd have like a video of me skating or something. But yeah, that's interesting to hear, man. When did you kind of decide to start, I guess, going like more serious with it? Because I mean, I get that you were experimenting over the years, but did it start right from that 2015, 2016 mark? Was it like, okay, this is it now, I'm going to do it?
Yeah, I sort of like strangely got to this point in my life where I was like, talking 5 years ago, I was like fresh out of uni, sort of couldn't get a job in the field I was looking to get a job in. So I was sort of like, I wasn't really progressing anywhere.
Right.
So the idea of starting the channel was to sort of document my own progress, whether it be through like my art or through the gym or whatever endeavors I got up to, really.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, actually. I'm in a pretty much the same position myself, but a little bit different. Like I graduated 3 years ago in marketing, and ever since then I sort of worked abroad for 3 years, came back this year in February, and been unemployed for 5 months and just doing YouTube and streaming and all this shit like religiously the whole time. It's a similar feeling. It's like,
Yeah.
well, the thing is though, you studied in your field. You did a BA. Sorry, I got this right. BA illustration and graphics.
Yeah,
degree.
that's correct.
Yeah. So you actually studied in your field, whereas for me, at this point, marketing, I mean, it has its uses. I certainly use that approach in all of my social media marketing and stuff, but it doesn't really apply to, like, I don't know, content creation and video ideas as such. But you know, how exactly did your degree help you, would you say, with what you do in terms of graphic design and stuff?
I think it helped me progress in a way that I've lost the words. Like, I'm thinking about the degree. Like, it was very subject to the opinion of the lecturers. So in an art degree, it was what the lecturers liked. They liked, and they had their favorite kind of students.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, so being a thing where it's very opinionated, it was a bit of a rough time, like being at university, but I don't know.
Again, it's interesting because I had another guest on the show he's a professional painter, artist, right? And he actually studied in Estonia, a different country. And
Okay.
he said it was useful, but there were like limitations and restrictions. And like originally, I thought he'd studied, at least at the high school level. Obviously, it's different at uni, but at the high school level, you know, that they are kind of somewhat restrictive. Like I remember doing art class in, I don't know, 14, 15, and like they're telling you like, no, you can't do this. You have to do it this way, and it's very limiting in that sense. But you'd think by degree level, since you're paying for it, and you know, it's this idea of like fostering your talent and trying to, I guess, give it a platform, you know, properly. But at the same time, it's like you said, all these lecturers have like their own particular style that they favor, and maybe they might hate other styles. Maybe they hate the style that you're into the most. I mean, it's a tricky thing.
I think it might have been partly that, yeah, definitely.
Well, I mean, you made a success of it. I mean, you kind of, not long after that, you started your own sort of clothing brand, which hosts all of your designs and stuff, as I understand. It's called Arbizar?
Yeah, Arbizar, yeah.
Arbizar, right. And I recommend everyone go and check that out, by the way. It's actually some really excellent designs on there and illustrations. And I was just kind of blown away by this, because it's one thing to kind of make your own clothing brand. I mean, it's pretty standard that, you know, especially if you're doing YouTube and other creative endeavors, that you have some sort of merchandise. But to do your own designs as well and not outsource them, I mean, it's got to take a lot of time and energy, I imagine.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those like very time-consuming things where you got individually upload each product to the store, and obviously the creating of the designs takes even longer. But I think it's better this way.
I think so too, yeah. If you have full creative control over something, you can always steer the direction it's going in, really, can't you?
Yeah, definitely.
So, like, what are your main goals and aspirations with that business, and why did you decide to sort of set it up initially?
Well, I set it up with the idea of like, not to sort of big myself up, but I've always been good at art,
Right.
like, and I think my designs like show that. So I really thought I should be doing something with it, but I never really fancied going down the route of, like, say, working in the design studio. If I was working there, it's sort of it's a set brief. It's sort of tailored to one direction, if you know what I mean, rather than being able to branch out in any way I wanted.
Okay. And sort of looking into the future, like, where do you kind of see this brand going? Like, do you think you'll sponsor anyone, or like what do you reckon? Let's say the next couple of years look like for Arbizar?
I'm hoping that it's going to grow more than it is now. Obviously, times are a bit of a struggle with
Right.
everything that's going on, and no one's really putting into the economy kind of thing. Like where everyone's struggling a bit, it's a bit of a struggle with that. But I'm hoping as like my YouTube grows, that will be like my main merch line alongside the YouTube. So as one grows, the other will grow at the same time.
Right, yeah, and like I have to say, I mean, maybe I've got this wrong, but at a glance, I haven't seen much like cross promotion. Seems like they are very much like separate entities at this point, and like you said, you're waiting for it to grow before maybe, you know, have I got that wrong? No, have you advertised it on your YouTube a lot, or?
Probably not as much as I should do. As of on YouTube, I've got that platform of a little following, not huge by any means, but definitely a core following who are loyal to the channel.
That's the thing, man. As my friend Childish Jacko always says, fellow YouTuber, you know, it's not like how many people. It's like that you have that following, like some people watching regularly all the time. Like that's all that matters, really. I mean, inevitably it will grow. I mean, at the moment you're on 500 subscribers, and it's not something to be scoffed at. Do you know what I mean? I mean, everyone starts with a very, very small amount, and you build from that. I think it comes largely from getting to know a person as well, and like getting familiar with them and stuff. And certainly I think that your videos do that very well. And there's a lot of different areas within what you do that kind of tell different stories about you and who you are and what you do and stuff. And just before we get into the different types of videos that you do, I just want to talk a little bit about I guess like your goals and sort of thoughts with regards to YouTube. So like, why do you like, what do you like most about creating YouTube content?
I think YouTube gives you the platform to be able to express yourself in ways that you wouldn't be able to in like everyday life. Like say working in your job, you kind of have to feel a bit reserved.
Yeah.
Whereas like YouTube, you can just like be like fully expressive. I know with yourself, you do your like short films and acting and that kind of thing on your videos. Sort of that expression that you get, like putting into videos, rather than sort of been in a bit of a mundane lifestyle.
Well, so you mean like having like the opportunity to explore the creative side of life, which might not be necessarily always the case in your day-to-day life. Is that kind of what you mean?
Yeah, because it sort of like in everyday life, you seem to be living the same day every day.
Especially now. Jesus. Yeah, I get what you mean. I suppose, yeah, it depends on the type of job that you have. Like, I know marketing can be very creative. And there's things I love about it, but at the same time, it can be very monotonous with certain things, and sometimes it really like it depends on who you work with, you know what I mean? Like some companies are more numbers and sales focused, and other companies are more like, hey, yeah, let's, you know, get the design team on board and let's really, you know, I don't know, get out there, get a bit abstract with the ideas and such, you know.
Yeah,
but
I've been sort of working in a shop, which I can't go into too much detail about because policies.
Oh, right. I thought it was more like, oh, we got to keep this under wraps, guys.
Oh, no.
I get you.
Just because of policies, that kind of thing.
Oh, I see. Is it like you're working with I get what you mean. I think I know what you mean. It's like you can't mention them because you're currently working for them. So like it's probably written in the contract, I imagine, somewhere.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a job at the end of the day. I know people who are struggling at the moment, and I guess I'm blessed to have the job, so that's the main thing, I guess.
It is tricky. I mean, I think that certainly it does depend on the industry you're in, and I think one interesting thing about this is it's really exposed like what are the necessities and what really aren't, you know, in many ways. But with that being said, I mean, things like I found it very interesting that they have this thing of like essential businesses, which I agree with the concept. You know, maybe you don't need, you know, music venues open and such, because it obviously and sports venues, you can do that without crowds and such. But things like the impact on the film industry, as an example. I'm sure you know this. You're very aware of this, that like not everyone takes careers in design or art or film or anything like that very seriously necessarily. Sometimes they look down on it. It's usually a generational thing. I think it's a bit different now, but certainly when I was growing up, and I was really into my music, I would get people telling me, oh, you should pack that in and get a real job. And it's part of the reason I went to uni, to be honest, which is kind of sad, because now it's come full circle and I'm back doing creative stuff again. So it's like life has sort of said, like, yeah, you've learned some shit, but let's get back to what we really should be doing.
Yeah, that's it.
But no, it's an interesting thing, isn't it? It's like society tries to push you in certain directions and like try to devalue art. And I use that as a blanket term because it kind of encompasses a lot of different things. But even if you're like, I don't know, let's say you're like a lawyer or a doctor, right? There are times when you need, like, say, music or art to get you through the day or through tough times or traveling or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And if that stuff wasn't there, I mean, you know what I mean? It's like the same people that complain about these things are the same people that kind of consume that content as well. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. And I mean, art and music especially have been around, forever, pretty much, in some form.
Madness. Okay, well, moving forward, what are your main kind of goals and aspirations with your YouTube?
With the YouTube, I need to get a consistent upload schedule. That'll be like my main goal at the moment.
I've heard so many people say all sorts of different things. I've heard some people say, uploading every day, multiple times a day is what you should be doing. Just keep uploading consistently. Other people are like, yeah, no, you should have it like once or twice a week or on specific days at specific times. I guess it really depends on like your kind of core audience, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely deserve more content than they've been getting.
Right.
I seem to go on this strange route of I'll upload a load and then I'll disappear off the face of the earth.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that real quick, actually. So you've posted like sort of several videos here and there. It's usually like once every kind of 6 months or something, where you kind of say, right, this is it, I'm stopping making videos, right? And then you kind of resume after that. Like, so is that kind of you kind of communicating that, hey, I need a break, I don't know if this is working out? Because it's one thing if you do it like one time, but you've done it, okay, let's say 2 or 3 times over the course of like a couple of years. So I imagine, obviously I don't know, I'm just speculating, but since I've kind of been in that mindset, sometimes you just need a break from everything. So talk to us about like why you felt that way and how you overcame that.
I think with YouTube, I know a lot of the smaller YouTubers feel this. With the way the recommendation system works, it doesn't particularly push many of the smaller YouTubers out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think a lot of us look at the numbers, like especially views and subscribers, that kind of thing, and look at it in a negative aspect rather than looking at the progress we made so far.
Completely agree with you, yeah.
And I think that's where you need that little time out to sort of step away from it and clear those negative thoughts and get yourself back into the mindset that you need to be in.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there is this issue of fixating too much on the numbers, and I've been guilty of it myself. I used to really obsess over it, and now I've kind of just realized that the important thing is to upload good quality content and enjoy it as well. I mean, I think like if you're just doing anything in life for the sake of it, it will always end up being shitty.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That's spot on.
I guess you got to think about your audience, haven't you, and like how they would interpret it. If you're just putting out random shit, like just trying to pop some views, then it's not really going to work. Like for instance, with me, I've kind of got 2 channels now. So the main channel has some resemblance of a schedule. It's a bit mad at the moment, but I'm pretty much just taking advantage of the fact that, you know, I have loads of time being unemployed and shit. So I'm like, I might as well. But more to the point, that one has more of a serious focus and a schedule, and it's there's a lot of effort and time put into it. But the second channel, which I started up this year, is kind of like a home for Twitch stuff and just kind of like random experiments, I guess. You know, so I'll do stuff like, instead of promoting it, like, okay, like I did a video on PewDiePie the other day, just a real quick kind of thing of like saying like, hey, it's kind of bullshit that people are giving him crap for, you know, listening to whatever he wants, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then I talked about my own experience with that. And that video is doing randomly really well. And all I did with that was tweet it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't do anything else, because normally I use obviously like Reddit, Facebook, Instagram, wherever, you know, just like every platform possible, and try and push it out.
Use somehow.
Yeah, because like I'm doing all the other shit that, you know, they tell you to do, like use TubeBuddy, use what's the other one? Something ID. The other one that isn't TubeBuddy. And you know, basically for that, the tags and shit and the SEO style stuff. But you know, I think it works to a degree. I think, like you said, like the algorithm ultimately dictates whether or not you get seen, and everything else is kind of up to chance. I mean, like my best video is just some random video of me talking about things I liked about Reddit about 5 or 6 months ago, which, you know, is not. It's okay, you know. I would like to think my videos are a lot better now, but back then, yeah, not so much.
It's part of the process, though, isn't it? Learning what works and developing your skills within each field, I guess.
Absolutely. Do you get that thing where you kind of look back at old videos? Well, okay, better way to put this. Do you judge like the quality of your content based on like, if you can watch it back and not cringe, then it's good?
I mean, that's definitely a factor, but you've always got to consider like where you came from.
Yes.
Like, it's all about the path you took to get here rather than sort of the end product.
Completely agree. Yeah, like anyone out there that's like trying to bury the past, man, embrace the past. It's good. Well,
unless it's like the bad stuff.
what do you mean, like controversial?
I don't know. Everyone gets caught up in controversies in the past, don't they?
I think you just have to not be an arsehole. That's the key.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when I look at all the, okay, let's chat about this real quick, because you did a video about James Charles and sort of like why you felt bad for him and stuff. And okay, I haven't read it. Watched it. I was kind of focusing more on like all the different quality of videos that you did. But given that like James Charles was kind of, what was it he did? He did something like mess some people around and such. He apologized for it, which is important. I think that's a big thing as well that people miss is you know, when people apologize and actually mean it, because a lot of the time that the YouTube apology has become a meme in of itself. It's like just always usually bollocks. But
that's indeed.
That's the thing. I think with him it was genuine, and you fuck up, you move on, you learn from it, right? That's what being human is. So with you kind of feeling bad for him, like what was the reason for that? Before we get into the other YouTubers.
The way the video came out when I think it was Tati Westbrook.
That's right. Yeah.
He made the video, and it was like none of these things like really added up, and it was just like there was this massive witch hunt on James Charles at the time, and it was just like it's this sort of cancel culture that we got in the online community. He was like almost cancelled straight away without even having his side of the story told.
This is the thing as well. Like I've had discussions with other people on my show about cancel culture before, and my stance on it is, I look at like the extremities of what someone has done and try to figure it out based on that. So like if you take like Sean Dawson as an example, 10 years ago or more, he was making videos where he was joking about like things like pedophilia, and like for the most part, it didn't sort of sound like a joke. you know. And okay, one could maybe make the argue like, oh, this was the shock horror kind of shock value humor that early YouTube had, and to a degree they have a point with that. Like, YouTube was very different back then, but at the same time, that carried out with a long time with him before he, I guess, let's say, like, revised his content and such. So like when I see people like him being cancelled, I have less of an issue with it, but I do kind of agree that it's a bit too insane to just cancel anyone for any like little mistake they make, because everyone fucks up, no one's perfect. If we were, then there would be no point in living, because that's kind of the whole point of life, is to learn. But yeah, I guess my point being is the extremities of it. But like, what's your kind of stance on that? Do you kind of support it in some cases, or do you think it's just bullshit completely? Like, what's your kind of take on it?
I mean, there's definitely money in the cancel culture thing. Like, I know a lot of big YouTubers will cancel each other for the views.
Now that's an interesting point.
It'll get into trending. It's sort of like this weird formula where it's sort of 90% of the cancel culture is just this weird view spinner, pretty much.
I have to say that in the times that I've had this discussion before, no one's ever come up with that point, and I think that's a really excellent point. Like, it immediately makes me think of H3 versus drama alert.
Yeah.
One could argue that maybe Ethan was just going after Keemstar because Keemstar can be an asshole, not always, but sometimes. But then again, so can Ethan. So, but yeah, I don't know. It does, on reflection, or like from an outsider's perspective, it does look like it could just, as you say, be a view spinner. And certainly on today's YouTube, it's something that I steer away from. I always try and avoid controversy wherever possible. I've had a few little things on my channel, I guess. Like, okay, I did a video about incels, which is kind of like infamous now. Because it just pissed people off in that community. And it was very light, you know, because I don't ever go out and attack people. It's just not who I am. But I will call people out on bullshit. That's something I do.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was just looking at it from a kind of outsider's perspective, mainly just like reading like definitions online and just kind of taking it apart and seeing the humor in it and such. And there were just some ruthless people in the comments, just ruthless. And it started as a debate, which I'm all for. I think debates are very healthy. And eventually it just led to like them throwing insults at me. And then, as like, for me, when hate or criticism is like that, I start ignoring it, because I'm all for constructive criticism, but hate comments are like, nah, you know, see you later. But how do you handle criticism and receiving hate comments? I
mean, I don't receive that many hate comments, if I'm honest.
I'm just perfect.
But, I do tend to sort of stay away from any of the drama things. Like that James Charles video, I think that's probably the only video on my channel where I've like talked about any of the drama that's going on in YouTube, to be honest. Did
you get any pushback for that video?
I think a lot of people sort of supported the idea of what I was saying.
Right.
I think it's like just off brand of what my channel is even about, to be honest.
Fair play. I get what you mean.
Like random video in the middle of sort of travel and fitness stuff.
This is one of the reasons why I set up a second channel as well, is to have that platform to just talk about any old shit. Because I feel like, once you've kind of established, as you say, like you've got your travel, your fitness, your vlogs, you know, your music vlogs, like it's all kind of building this kind of I suppose like an expectation within your audience of what to expect. So if you randomly pull out this just random video out of nowhere that's off topic, maybe some people might feel a bit like, I don't want to say like annoyed, but like, what's this shit, what? Well, in the sense that maybe they're waiting for like your next gym video, and then they see that and they're like, oh, but I wanted this one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I had a couple of people who said like they don't even know who these people are. like especially when you're not like sort of involved in the YouTube community side of things.
Right, that's a big factor as well, actually. Yeah, I mean,
I
a lot
think
of
like us as YouTubers, we see what say all the other big YouTubers doing, like what they're putting out, and there's sort of this part of us which analyzes what they're doing and seeing what works.
it's a good point, actually, because I guess it kind of depends on your age demographic as well. Like myself and yourself, I guess, you know, we kind of grew up with YouTube when we were teens, so we were like fans of YouTube, I suppose.
Yeah.
And like we became like there were many early YouTubers that I was really into, like, I don't know, English ones. People might remember Charlie Is So Cool, like Charlie McDonnell. He was a very big English YouTuber and kind of like like the grandfather of the vlog in a way.
Yeah.
And that style of YouTube videos still exists today, but I guess it's less popular because now it's more about shitting on other people, commentary videos, all of this stuff, which has its place, and some people do it really well, and I get that. And I guess it's very difficult to do something truly unique on YouTube that people like dig and will get behind. And a lot of it takes many years to get, you know, get on track. Like I was looking into just randomly the Joe Rogan podcast, more because I've just been, you know, trying to gain inspiration from my own podcast and just kind of learn a thing or two, and because it's a good podcast, I enjoy it. But yeah, I was looking at his early stuff, and it's not bad, but it's not easy to watch. Like it doesn't have the same vibe that it has now. That kind of made me realize, like, it wouldn't. Like, these things take time. You know, you got to take time to hone your craft, so to speak. You know, and I think that kind of is the case for all types of content that you create. Like, it's never going to necessarily, you know, you're not going to necessarily hit it out of the park the first time. You know.
Yeah, definitely. It's part of that sort of character progression throughout the years.
I thought you were going to say character development for a second.
Oh, that's the word I was thinking of.
I know what you mean. I look back at my old vlogs sometimes and I think, like, damn, man, just be more confident. Like, just fine. Relax. Because these days it's totally different. Like, instead of going, I just literally just stick on the camera and start recording, and then that's it. And obviously, like, I'll have some bullet points, but I know that I'll go off on tangents, and then that'll be it.
Yeah.
We've all got different styles.
Something different.
So, say that again.
It just descends into something different.
Yeah, I think it takes time to get to that point, and plus, like, everyone has a different approach as well. You know what I mean? Like, a vlog, I suppose, in a way, is a very personal thing. So everyone communicates in their own way, and there is no right or wrong way to do it necessarily. But I do think the only wrong way there is to do it is to not be yourself.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
There are some people in my community, and I love you guys, but you know who you are. Please stop faking. It's painful to watch. It's just they think that they're being, I guess, entertaining. I don't know. Maybe they saw another YouTuber that they admire doing it, but the reality is, no one wants to see like a bootleg version of someone else. You want to see something new, something unique, something different, or like a unique take on something that's already been done. But outright just copying another person's demeanor or style or whatever is just, it sucks. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But anyway,
I agree on that. It's sort of like everyone tries to be something that they're not, rather than forging their own path.
Exactly.
And I think that's where people sort of, they start putting out content which they don't even like themselves.
Right. Yeah, that's a big
and then
problem.
it's just like this negative thing they're producing.
I think it's like, it's good to experiment, but yeah, I think it's bad if you're producing stuff that you don't like, or that like for me, I've done stuff on my channel that, you know, okay, like for instance, I did reaction videos. I didn't do many, but I did a few, and it was a lot of effort for something that, like, yeah, I didn't really gain that much enjoyment from, to be honest. I mean, it was just fine, but I feel like it's better. Like, okay, I did one video where I reacted to my old band that I was in years ago, and see
Yeah.
that was fun. That was like a nostalgia trip, and I was like, huh, I might do something like this again. But the ones where I was just reacting to, like, I don't know, some TLC program or something, it's like, ugh, like all this editing and shit for it to then only probably just get fucking copyright claimed as well on top of everything else. It's just like, it's not worth it, man.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, that's a really good point, man. But moving on, now you've created many travel videos for your YouTube. This is a big part of who you are. It's obviously one of the ways that I introduced you. What does traveling mean to you?
Traveling, wow. Yeah, to like the videos on my channel were actually a scratch on the surface of what I've got.
Damn.
I think I was away for 16 months.
Holy shit. So,
Yeah,
that's 2
so
years. Wow.
I sort of traveled around Asia and ended up living in New Zealand for a year.
Damn. Talk us through some of the most amazing stuff that you've seen and the places you've been.
Oh god, like it was like it's almost like looking back on it, I think that everything was a dream.
I know the feeling. Yeah, yeah.
But it's just so strange. Like being able to go to like the Taj Mahal was insane.
Oh my god! Wow.
Like it's so much more impressive than you think it is from pictures.
Yeah, I was gonna say because like some things look, yeah, some things are incredible and some things are not. Like I remember going to Hollywood and being really underwhelmed by because it's like tiny,
Yeah.
and not how it's portrayed in movies. But then like the desert in America is fucking incredible. So it's I don't know, yeah, strange. But
I mean, I was lucky enough to travel with one of my friends for 9 months of the trip.
now, how was it being in that close proximity to one person? Because I've had, let's say, difficulties with people I've traveled with
Yeah.
who are friends. And I mean, to me, it's the same as like living with someone. It's like, for instance, in a relationship, like I feel like you should always do it in stages. Date them for a while, then move in together and see how that works and see if you can live together and then move on. And I feel like it's the same with friends in terms of living together and also traveling together. But yeah, how was it for you in regards to that?
Well, like before we went traveling, we hadn't actually seen each other for like 5 years.
Holy shit.
We sort of I think I was in Sweden meeting an online friend from a video game.
Oh, wow.
And he like the friend I went traveling with, he messaged me saying, "What are you doing in Sweden? Like, do you want to meet up for a beer when you get back?" kind of thing.
Oh, sick.
So like going to Sweden and meeting an online friend was just like insane in itself.
Mm.
But coming back, like we went on this crazy night out, and at the end of the night, we just sort of like started talking about traveling.
Was this like drunken talk where you were shit faced and it was like, oh, we should go to this place, we should go to this part, this would be amazing. And then when you woke up the next day, you called them and they were like, hey, so about that travel tour.
Yeah, like we were talking about like Sri Lanka and India.
Yeah.
And we were just like drunk, and then the next day we like messaged each other like, "Did you want to go traveling still?" And like we met up and booked flights to Sri Lanka that day.
Oh wow! Okay, how far?
Not
how
like
far,
flying
how
out
far
on the
ahead?
day, but like we bought the tickets there and then.
That's incredible, man.
And then sort of, I think it's 6 months later, we just flew out to Sri Lanka, and then the rest is history.
Okay. And what other places have you been to, man?
So the trip was Sri Lanka, India.
Mm-hmm.
Then we went to. Where did we go after that? I think we went to the Philippines over Christmas and New Year's.
Oh, nice.
We went to a little island called Boracay,
Wow,
which is basically like a little party island.
that sounds amazing.
And that whole 2 weeks was a bit of a blur, to be honest.
How does Christmas and New Year's differ in the Philippines compared to here?
It was strange. Like, obviously, we were on a party island on a beach, and we ended up having KFC for breakfast on Christmas Day.
The fuck? Wow. Okay. What's
It was cool.
KFC like there? Actually, that's a good question.
It's different. Like in all the different countries across sort of Asia, you've got random things like muk spaghetti.
Mook spaghetti. Wow.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that. That's a new one.
yeah, it's strange. And then like in India, you got all the different sorts of burgers, like
Right. Yeah.
that sort of culture.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow. What are the kind of the best and worst places that you've travelled to, and why was that the case?
Sri Lanka was incredible for when we went there. Obviously, it's the first country out on the trip, and it was sort of like an island paradise.
Right.
And like the locals were so friendly, and everything just fell into place like perfectly.
Okay.
So we met a couple of friends on the first couple of days and just traveled around with them for the whole month.
Yeah.
And then obviously moving on to New Zealand, where I ended up living for a year. That was just a completely different experience. It's quite a surreal country to be in.
Yeah.
Like everything's so different from the UK.
I gotta say there is also a big difference between traveling and living somewhere as well. Like I lived in Estonia for 3 years, and that taught me a lot about European life, various different cultures. Again, yeah, the comparison between Estonia and Europe and then the UK. I was much more appreciative of many of the things we have in the UK actually. So when I returned, I was like, oh, thank God we have this and this and this, because it is different, and the way that especially governments treat their people is very interesting as well. Like I'm not saying that the UK government has our best interests at heart, because they certainly don't, but there are certain things in place, particularly with regards to law and legislation, that protect us in various ways.
Yeah.
But
I mean, definitely be in worse situations in this country.
Absolutely, yes. Gotta be grateful of what you have. Okay, well, talk us through. Do you have any like horror stories in terms of like travel, like bad hotels or bad scary moments or anything like
that? So when we first got into India, this was a really weird one. We'd booked like this weird hotel place, and we turned up at the place, and it turned out that it was like a place where cancer patients go to die.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, so
what?
we went in there, and it was our first day in India. We walked in there, and we were looking around, and we were like, "This is weird." We just sort of like looked at each other. There was like mold on the walls. It was just like an absolute dump. But I mean,
so what happened? Like, did you talk to someone and they said like, "Oh, wrong place," or like, "Oh, here's your bed"? Or...
we got it on Booking.com.
Oh no!
But we basically just paid them the money. It wasn't that much. We paid them the money and just like got a taxi to the beach.
So you stayed at this place?
Huh?
You stayed at this place?
No, we left.
Oh, you let. Oh, so it was like compensatory money or whatever.
Yeah, we just sort of paid them the money anyway because we felt bad. We were only there like an hour. Wow. We paid them the money and just left.
Was it really sort of expensive, or was it just like peanuts or something?
It was like 800 rupees. I don't know what that is. That's like £5 or something.
So yeah, super cheap then. Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's definitely the difference for like traveling Asia. It's
yeah. I've heard this a lot, and I was kind of intrigued by if it still kind of is the same right now as well. Obviously, this was within the last couple of years, was it?
Yeah, it surprised me. It's coming up to 3 years now. 3 years in October.
Damn. Do you still have an itch to go? Do you have an itch to go back traveling?
I would like to.
Where would you go?
Obviously, what's going on, it's not feasible at the moment, to be honest.
Where would you go if you could right now?
I want to do some more of Asia and perhaps South America.
Ooh.
Depending on what's going on.
Okay.
Been thinking about like Bolivia and Peru, but
So you've got your
I
eyes
wouldn't.
on all the kind of picturesque places and places with lots of history, which is pretty cool. Because
Mm.
a lot of the time when you hear people traveling, they're like, "Yeah, I want to go to America, I want to go France, I want to go Spain, blah blah blah," and like I like that it does constitute traveling. But I do think that like to get the real traveling experience, you got to like sort of get really knees deep in the culture and the history of a place and
100%.
yeah, and like backpacking is such a it's it's not easy, it's scary, but it's probably a very effective way of doing it and getting sort of stuck in and such. Yeah.
It's definitely one of those things where you'll learn a lot about yourself traveling.
I agree.
It's a very humbling experience to sort of, especially India, where there's a massive divide between wealth and poverty.
Right. Yeah.
Like even in like Mumbai, you see like people with these like super fancy cars in the city,
Yeah.
and then on the outskirts, it's all like the sort of favela kind of things, where they have little to nothing at all, and it's just a massive divide, really. But it humbles you seeing other people's ways of life and makes you really appreciate what you got.
I always
in
kind of look at like
life.
how the people are as well, like in terms of whether or not they're happy. Because often you see like these adverts on TV that are like, oh, and they show these people looking super depressed and miserable. And like there is that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but there is a lot of like happiness too. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes by having nothing, you learn to appreciate the small things in life or like what really matters. And I don't know. I guess it helps you, especially if you go from like like someone like yourself or myself, where you have by comparison riches in a way. You know what I mean? Like by comparison, living in the UK is like that. So then going to somewhere where that's not the case really helps you to reevaluate your own mindset and the way you think and so on and so forth.
Yeah, definitely. You would notice like people are happy to have food on their plate and be with their families.
Yeah.
I think where we lack that in this country, you can like walk into any supermarket, buy whatever you want, and you're still not happy.
Yeah. People need to cook more, man. I think that's really important. Cooking is not just about eating. It's like good for the soul. I don't know, like ever since I started living alone like properly, I've been cooking a lot and I really enjoy it. I don't know, it's like therapeutic almost. And somewhat creative as well,
Yeah.
Like I made myself some pasta the other day and I was just eating it and I was like, God damn, this is some good shit right here. Like, yeah, I'm good at it. Nah, but like, it's trial and error, isn't it? But I think a lot of people are kind of lazy or maybe scared as well. Like, I know that when I first went to uni all those years ago, I didn't know how to cook for shit. And it was actually my ex-girlfriend that taught me to cook. So thank you so much for that. Because it was quite a funny story, actually. She started dating me and I was living in halls off of like tins of like baked beans and shit. I'd say my shop would be like 30 cans of that and then some other shit. And one of my other flatmates was just like, you're going to get scurvy or something on this shit. Like, what's wrong with you? And then my ex kind of just saw this and was like, no, okay, we're going to go get some real food and you're going to cook. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. And she's like, just stop being an idiot and just do what I say. And it was, and then I wasn't scared anymore and now it's fine. But
It's all part of that learning curve, isn't it?
it's so important though. Like not just that, but like just doing stuff for yourself, I think, in general. Like even travel, like I think so many people miss the point about why travel is important. Like I remember years ago listening to I think it was the Ricky Gervais podcast, possibly. But it was Stephen Merchant talking about travel, and he just had this like throwaway, I guess, quote that kind of really just stopped me in my tracks. He basically said like, travel broadens the mind.
Yeah.
And like at first, like hearing that, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe you just learn a bit more about the world. But then once I started living abroad and traveling to other countries as well, like I really started to get what that meant and why why travel is so important. Like I think if you spend long enough away from your homeland as well, because I experienced homesickness, which I've never felt in my life before, and that was sometimes very depressing, very difficult, but interesting as well, because I was almost like not angry with the UK, but I was a bit like disappointed once I'd finished my degree. I was just like, oh, can't find a job, nothing's fucking going my way, oh, screw this country, I'm gonna leave, kind of attitude. And then when I came back, I was just so grateful to be home, and yeah, I just have a different attitude now, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. For me, that travel is good. It's good for you.
Yeah, it definitely changes you for the better. It makes you think differently rather than sort of going about your day-to-day life the same forever.
Would you say it's kind of made your content better, or like, you know, improved maybe your mindset, so you have a better mindset in terms of approaching creating YouTube content?
I'd say, yeah, definitely. Like going away traveling is the biggest thing you could do to like improve your confidence. So it helps you come out of your shell and find who you like really are. I know that sounds like super cliche.
It's true, man. It's true.
But I used to be a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot more reserved.
Right.
I used to like sort of keep to myself and not be overly confident kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then like when you're put in a situation where you got to force yourself to try new things like different flavors or try and learn the local language to communicate with people, like it just completely changes you.
I know what you mean. Like for me, I grew up as an introvert that learned that you need to be extroverted to just get shit done in life. Doesn't mean you have to be extrovert all the time. I guess a better description would be omnivert. But like I can kind of sympathize with both. I know why extroverts need to be like that, and I also completely sympathize with introverts because I feel that too from time to time. Plus, like dealing with shit like social anxiety and all that crap. But just in general, like I feel like it's important to like understand that, you know, the world expects you to be extroverted, but that doesn't mean that you have to be all the time. And it's actually good to spend a lot of time with yourself. And like this is what I mean, like society kind of makes you think like oh, if you're alone there's something really wrong with your life, and you know what I mean, like you can't go to a restaurant on your own, and you can't like sit at home and enjoy your own company because, you know, that means there's something wrong with you. And it's just such bollocks. Oh man, I mean there's some days that I'm just like I don't want to deal with people, like just screw people, and like no. No.
I'm one of those where I can sort of be by myself for a long time.
Yeah.
Like I know I've got things I can be doing without people.
I'm the same.
Work on all the time.
I'm the same. Like I think it's healthy in all areas as well. Like particularly if you have a relationship as well, and you have someone that's on one side that's really overbearing or something, or needs a lot of attention. I think it's really healthy if you have two people that are like sort of independent of each other. You know, you come together, you have your time together, but you also have like your own time away where you do your own shit.
Yeah. I think that's the best way to have it, really.
Yeah, I mean, with everything. You know, I always, I don't know, in my life right now, the thing that I always seem to be pursuing is like balance in every area. And I feel that like the older that I get, the more it might kind of becomes apparent that that's the right way to be moving forward. And but yeah, everyone has their own approach, I guess. But switching it up, let's talk more about your fitness. Talk to us about how you got into training and fitness, and why it's such an important part of your life.
So the fitness side of things, I was in a stage where I was playing video games all day, every day. And I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I need to go and be active in my life. Like, don't get me wrong, like video games are great, but when it's like all encompassing, you're just like grinding out nothingness for days on end.
I know what you mean. You need that sense of like accomplishment in every day, and it doesn't necessarily feel that way. Yeah.
The thing about gym, you know, like if you get out of your house, go down to the gym, smash a hard workout, you suddenly like flip your mindset to be like, I've done this today and I've worked hard, and then that comes over into your different projects like the YouTube and like my art, that kind of thing. It makes me more motivated to work on those things.
I get that too often. If I spend too long, like today, I'm planning on going out after this, and it's because like I haven't been properly outside in like the last 4 or 5 days, been feeling under the weather and such. And already I can like, there's this like feeling I have of like almost like suffocation. It's really weird. It's like if I'm in here too long without doing exercise or going out, I feel like I just can't breathe. And I know it's in my head, but I just think it's really important to do that. Like you said, like be active, not just for your body, but yeah, for your mind to like, because I don't know, everyone's creative process is different, but like for me, it's really random. I just come and I'm like, okay, all right, let's write this shit down, or let's do this right now. I know obviously everyone's, like I said, everyone's mindset's different. Some people, you know, you have to plan and really, you know what I mean? It's like a series of chapters or something like that. But for other people, sometimes it is just that, like, yeah, waking up randomly at 3 a.m. and, oh shit, I got this idea. You know, it depends, doesn't it? But yeah, I couldn't agree more with you on that one. I feel like it's a very good way to give your mind some space to breathe.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely one of those things, like, it helps with your overall well-being.
Yeah.
I know I get myself into like these really dark holes of depression where I completely close off the rest of the world, and I go into like my little shell, and then at the end of it, I sort of like explode out of it with this weird burst of creativity.
I'm the same.
I guess that's what, going back to my YouTube, we were saying earlier, where I disappear off the face of the earth for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. There have been times when, particularly when I've been at my darkest, where maybe I wrote a bit of poetry and it was, you know, quite, I don't want to say profound, that makes me sound like a twat, but like it, maybe it was better than what I normally write because it was real, like really, really real, like, you know, like rather than talking about a feeling that you had before, like you're actively going for it and you're writing it as you feeling it, kind of thing. But then, yeah, I feel like with depression, it's tricky when you're a content creator because you can either take some time, rest, be away from it, and then come back to it refreshed or whatever. Or you can try to like push through it. Like sometimes I don't know, when it comes to like gymming and being active, sometimes it's better to go out and get active and then, you know, obviously do cardios, get those endorphins out there, and then put yourself in that positive mindset again. But other times it's better to just rest, and because you just don't physically have the energy to do that.
Yeah,
it's really weird how that works. But I guess the body always kind of tells you what it wants. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, my body definitely tells me that.
It's like, stop, please, for the love of God.
I don't know why it tells me to like disappear off the face of the earth and not get in contact with anyone, but
yeah, I think that's a good point as well.
Thing.
Yeah, like a lot of people don't realize like how important it is to just have that time to yourself. You know, they get selfish. They're like, "Oh, why didn't you call me?" And it's like, it's not all fucking about you, man. Like you need that time to yourself to just be. But anyway,
I think it links into that like social media expectation as well, doesn't it? Where like say everyone from school or wherever you've met them, they're all sort of getting into relationships, having babies and stuff.
Ugh, I hate that.
And then people are like asking you like, "What's wrong with you?" That's like,
do you know what? Like, fuck
in my own place.
I agree. For some reason, it really bothers me. I don't know why as well, because it's other people's lives, and who gives a fuck about other people's lives? But for some reason, it really bothers me when you see people that endlessly post pictures of like them with their babies and their family and shit, and it's like, okay, it's sweet, but like when you do it 50 fucking thousand times a day, it's jarring for anyone like just in your timeline. Do you know, sometimes I often mute people that do that because I just don't want to see that shit.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm not happy for them. It's just that, like, yeah, firstly, that idea of like, oh shit, maybe I should have that, like, what's wrong with me kind of goes through my head. But then it's also just like, it's kind of bollocks as well. Like, real people that are really, like, I don't know about you, but for me, if I'm like dating someone and I'm really happy, I don't really post about it. I just enjoy it. You know what I mean? And like once in a blue moon, maybe some picture will come out, but I don't fucking plaster it everywhere. Like, hey guys, guess what? I'm in a relationship. Everyone, look.
It's one of those things where like some people just like post everything about their relationship online, and then others like to keep it more private.
Yeah, and like, don't get me wrong, everyone has their choice, and I respect that, but at the same time, it's like, I do feel like it's something that more or less you grow out of. Like, that was one thing when we were 14, and it's like, oh look, they've announced they're in a relationship, and 50 statuses about how much they love each other, and it's all bollocks, and you're just kids. But that was then. But when you got people in their 20s and 30s doing it, it's like, I also feel like if you have a life, and I am really going out on an attack here, but I don't give a fuck because just bothers me. Go out and get a life. Go get some hobbies. The world does extend beyond your kids and your husband and wife or whatever.
Totally agree with that.
Just yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe I am just being an arse, but I know so many people that don't do that. I think that's the thing. I know so many families that are just happy and content and don't need to do that. And once in a while they might post something, but like you say, they don't give in to that expectation. They don't give a shit. Like, they just. So sometimes I wonder, like, what goes through the people's heads that like endlessly post these pictures. It's just.
I don't know. Maybe it's different when you're in that situation.
Nah, because I've been in that situation and I didn't do it. I mean, like, when I think back to my ex, we started dating.
Weird brain chemistry, which.
No, but it's just, I just don't get the need to do it continuously.
No, definitely not.
I get the idea of like being proud of like having a relationship, or being proud that you've just had a baby or something. Like, I get that. That's really cool, awesome. But like, when you, again, the quantity thing and the consistency of it, I don't get that. But anyway, end of rant. I apologise.
Bit of a tangent on it.
Yeah. Let's get back to you. You've posted a lot of festival vlogs. You've been to a lot of cool festivals, like Download Festival, for instance. I'm an avid fan of festivals. I've been to Download and Sonosphere as well. When did you start going to festivals, and what do you like about them?
Oh God, like, I started going to festivals when I was. It must have been like 2010, so I must have been like 17 or something like that.
Did you go to? Okay, I'm going to name a couple that I was at, and tell me if you were there. Okay. So, Sonosphere 2011.
No.
Okay.
I never made it to Sonosphere.
Sonosphere's good. It's smaller. It's basically just smaller than Download, but awesome. I don't know. Download 2012.
I did.
Hey, I was at that one. That was a good one.
That was a very good year.
Sonosphere 2014.
No.
Download 2014.
No.
Download 2014 was really good, actually. I was there for one day to see Linkin Park, and
okay, yeah,
they did Hybrid Theory, man.
Oh my God.
But anyway, back to you.
Hey,
yeah. So
rest in peace, Chester.
So say again.
Rest in peace, Chester.
Yeah, man, that fucking sucks.
That was sad.
I remember seeing a post actually about that, which kind of opened my eyes. It was like a series of pictures of, you know, famous people like Chester, like Robin Williams, and it said like, you know, it was pictures of them smiling, and it said this is what depression looks like.
Yeah.
And it was a very good point, because I'm the same. I don't, you know, I often always just post pictures of myself happy and shit, and not many people know that I've had like suicidal thoughts and stuff. I guess it's not. I mean, some people talk about being depressed, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people keep it in. I guess it depends on the person, really. But yeah, that is true. That is kind of how it looks. I was really blown away by that one. It was the same as when the lead singer of the Prodigy died as well. I mean, both men are, you know, family men.
Yeah.
Seemingly like everything in their life. I mean, you never know what someone's going through. You know what I mean? You on the outside, you could look at them and be like, "Wow, they're rich. They got everything they want. Like, how could they not be happy?" But you never know. It could be anything. It just you really don't know. But,
It's one of those things. It's a devastating thing which affects a lot of men, and I know we should like speak out about it more. I know I'm quite reserved on like speaking out about my feelings, that kind of thing.
it's not easy to, particularly because online people attack you. I think it is getting easier now. More and more people are speaking about it, but I'm definitely not comfortable when I talk about it. I try to look at it like, okay, maybe this is like a service of some description. Like maybe people will listen to this, hear this, and it might be useful to them. So I try to look at it through that scope. But if I think about it too much, it kind of bothers me. I'm like, you know, who the fuck cares? Like maybe this is just like annoying. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we should probably like say it, like if there's anyone out there that's struggling with anything, like I've probably known you probably the same. Like our messages are always open to you guys.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I did a video recently about this. Shout out to LSH, Leighton Harvey. We did a video together about mental health awareness on this subject, and yeah, you know, I mean, I think the important thing is to you know, obviously know that other people are going through it, because that's a big thing. When you're dealing with it, it feels like it's just you, and like you just feel like no one understands. Which sound like, this is the thing. I remember when I was growing up as a teenager and I had bouts of it, and you know, parents or friends around me would be like, "Oh, stop being a wuss, like what the fuck's wrong with you?" And back then I didn't realize that it was depression and social anxiety. I just thought it was, I don't know, that I was pathetic or something. I don't know. So like, yeah, it's just different times, you know, growing up. But now I look back and I'm like, okay.
It's a lot more accepted now than
Yeah.
place sort of 10, 20 years ago or whatever.
Well, I think part of it as well is growing up and understanding your feelings as well. Like understanding, like being an adult. I think when you're an adult, you realize like most people just don't give a flying fuck about anything.
Yeah.
You can just be who you are, like what you like. Okay, like music is a good example. Like when I was growing up, like I used to get actual hate for like in rock and metal music. Whereas now, I mean, more often than not, most people just listen to anything. That's a big thing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
definitely.
And yeah, and secondly, like, I don't know, it's like people just don't care. You know, sometimes people do. People would be like, "Oh, how can you listen to that?" But I haven't really heard that. It's been many years since I heard someone react in that way. You know, so I don't know. It's weird.
I think the world's definitely become a much more accepting place, especially like sort of in the last 10 years or so.
I think there's truth to that. Yeah, with certain things. I think we're still very much in a kind of how to put it. I mean, we're always building. We're always trying to grow. But I think we're still in a very. It's like we're trying to construct something, you know, but we're not quite there yet. We're figuring it out. Figuring out like, okay, this is how we need to try and be with each other.
Yeah.
But we're just not quite there yet. I mean, stuff like cancel culture is an example. It's like the idea of not supporting hate and being against people that are hateful is a good concept, but the way it's executed and the attitude in it, like, here's a really good example. Yeah, I saw one time someone had fucked up, some celebrity, and people were talking about cancelling them, and one of the comments I saw literally said like, "Oh, who are we cancelling now?" Like, you know, like excitedly kind of thing.
Yeah, insane, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was kind of like, that right there is the problem. Like, people aren't, like, not taking it seriously, because I don't think that's the right way to put it, but like, they're kind of looking at it like it's a game, like it's fun. And what you have to remember is you're talking about people's livelihoods, their careers and shit. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to cancel someone like, say, Shane Dawson, right? Fine, but like, you have to think about everything in context. Like, if you're saying, okay, we don't want to support like a paedophile, fuck him, right? That's one
Yeah.
thing, and that's understandable. But let's say he didn't do it. Let's say he just said some like shitty stuff to someone, right? Which everyone's done.
Yeah.
Is it really fair to cancel someone's complete livelihood and fuck up their career based on some stupid shit that they said? Especially if they said it years ago as well.
And that's the dangerous situation we live in. There's like a lot of people throw false accusations around,
Right, yeah.
and then that person will get cancelled, and like they'll get torn to pieces, lose everything, and then
It kind of
I don't know.
reminds me of that saying, "There's no smoke without fire." I remember that saying. I think I heard my nan say that one time. It was around the time that the whole Jimmy Savile thing came out, and there was a lot of people being accused of paedophilia, right? And most of it was founded, you know, and they were put in prison and stuff, and I don't want to say it was successful, but it was like, you know, like, those people were exposed and something was done about it, and it's continuing. But there were people that were seemingly falsely accused, and it's always put a question mark over it. Like, one of them, for international viewers, you won't know what we're talking about, but you'll know. So Coronation Street, there were the TV show, TV serial. There was a character, or is a character. What's his name? Old guy. Oh fuck, I don't know his name. Ken Barlow. There you go. Jesus.
Yeah.
He's like one of the mainstays. He's been in it since it began. I think it began in like the 50s or the 60s, that TV show or something. It's like one of the longest running TV soap operas in the UK, at least. But anyway, he was accused and he, you know, denied it. And there was a big question mark over him for a while. And he was sort of temporarily suspended. And then I guess he was proved innocent, or, you know, nothing came of it, and he went back to work, in fairness, and I don't really hear anyone talk about it, but it's one of those things. Occasionally you might hear people say like, oh yeah, well, there's no smoke without fire, and like, that's kind of the danger of it, isn't it? Even just being accused now of something just sets a certain amount of people against you, so it really makes it's dangerous if you just throw accusations around, is kind of the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. It's like those kind of things sort of stay there forever.
Right, yeah, exactly.
It's not a thing that can be just like washed away, even though it's not true. Like, people always associate that.
Right, yeah. It's a tricky one to steer around. I guess you just have to keep trucking on, really. What can you do? But anyway, yeah, bringing it back to the festivals stuff. What do you like about festivals?
What do I like about festivals? It's sort of a sense of community where you go into a big, massive field and you're surrounded by people who like the same things as you. And you just have like some crazy experiences at festivals.
I know what you mean about the community thing. I remember one of the first, I think it might have actually been the first festival I ever went to. I was dating this girl, and I suppose it was pretty early on in our relationship, probably like 6 months in. So we're all like cutesy, honeymoony, and, you know, like, we're just clueless. I think we're like 18 at the time, so we just don't know what the fuck we're doing. And we set up the tent, but I guess not very well. It like fell over, and we come back, and basically, I think it was either it was in the midst of falling down and someone was fixing it, or it had just been fixed, one of the two. But we walked over, and this guy came over to us who was opposite from us. He's like some 40-year-old bloke. So I'm like quite nervous at this point, right? And he just turns around and he goes, "Oh, you're right, pal. Like, yeah, the wind sort of blew your fucking tent over and stuff, so we just pitched it with these and stuff, and like, you're good to go." And I was like, "Oh, wow, thank you so much." And yeah, I just wasn't expecting that kind of friendly approach.
Yeah.
So that sense of community is, I agree with you, it's a big thing in festivals. Everyone, for the most part, looks out for each other, I'd say.
I think it does like vary between different festivals though.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
go on.
One that I've been going to for years, it's called Bloodstock Festival.
I'd love to go to that one. That's one I haven't
been. It should be on this weekend, but
it's depressing.
I'll be there at the moment, unfortunately. I've sort of done like 10 years of that one.
Yeah.
And it's like everyone's there is just like this one big metal family.
That's the thing with metal fans as well. I don't often find like arsehole metal fans. It's not really a thing. You do get people like that now and again, but yeah, I think okay, this is going to make me sound a bit elitist, but it's just the truth. The reality of most metal music is that it's quite intelligent music. You know, you look at the lyrics, it deals with quite intelligent themes, you know, politics, emotions, society at large, all sorts of stuff. And you know, even like angsty bands like Slipknot back in the day were still kind of relating to people on a deeper level. And for that reason, like whenever I'd meet other metal fans, I just kind of instantly bonded with them wherever I was, because it's just, you know, how people are. They're friendly, want to connect. They're used to getting shit from people, so I guess there's that as well. You don't want to give shit to people that are like you. But yeah, there just seems to be that sense of community wherever you go, and the festival, I guess, is like the best place for that, isn't it? Because it's like one whole massive large gathering of everyone in one place.
Definitely all the festivals and gigs. That's something I know the sort of rock and metal community are missing a lot at the moment.
Yeah.
They used to be like, I don't know, like our equivalent of going to a football match or something.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. That there is a special feeling about festivals. I feel like whenever you go, it's always that same feeling as well. You know, and there's all these kind of also like strange things that, like strange rules that somehow apply that don't normally apply otherwise. So like you can wake up at a festival at like 10 a.m, 9 a.m, and it's perfectly acceptable. Just crack open a beer straight away. That's, you know, just
the random warm one which has been outside all night.
Oh yeah. Oh, do you know? I remember. I think it was Sonisphere 2014. It was really hot, which normally at these festivals it's like pissing it down with rain or something. Yeah. Especially Download Festival.
Download every year.
Man, I remember 2012. It was like so windy and rainy, and we were lucky where we were. We escaped that, but we had to go through so much fucking mud. It was nuts. And there was people's tents that were literally like floating on the mud, and I was like, "Fuck, man, that person's screwed." Like.
That 2012 Download was horrendous.
Yeah, I remember getting. I didn't even know this was the thing until then, but like, you can get a thing where if the wind is too strong, you can get almost like wind burns instead of sunburn, like wind burn. Because we got that because it was like it had done that, and then I think it was on the second day. During the day, it was really sunny, so tons of fucking rain, and then sun. And then it was just all of this stuff at once. So we just looked like shit. But I don't know. It was fine.
It's all part of the charm of the festival, though, isn't it?
Yeah, you slog through it. You get through it. And yeah, like you said, everyone kind of looks after each other. But yeah, that's cool. Well, taking it to the negative, what things do you dislike about festivals?
The days after the festival. Like that. Yeah. The Monday morning when you're trying to like pack up all your tents and stuff. And you're just on like a 4-day hangover, and you're just like...
It's a really weird day, isn't it? Because you wake up, like, you got two choices. You either wake up really early with the idea of like, oh, let's get out before everyone else does. But everyone has the same fucking idea, so it's like... and the reality is you probably went to bed at like 5 a.m, 6 a.m. Yeah. So you've only got a couple of hours sleep. Or you can go later which I don't know. It's a bit weird. I don't know. I've never seen anyone. There are some people that do that. I guess they're just like sleeping from a hangover, but it's just weird. Say again.
Then you're in the peak of the heat.
Yeah, it's just it's a weird day. It's a really weird day. It's just one big long hangover, and then you get home and sleep for like 2 days.
One thing we've done like over the years to get over that, we'll sort of go back to one person's house and just sort of just chill out for a couple of days.
I think that's a solid idea. Either that or go to a hotel. One of the two.
Mm.
But yeah.
It's like when you go directly home and you're just there, just like on your own, barely alive.
Oh, I never thought about that actually. That's a solid idea. If I ever go, well, I'm sure I'll go festivals in the future. But yeah, I'm gonna do that. That's a solid idea.
Chill out, watch some cartoons, play video games or whatever. That's the state of mine's at. It's just melted.
You just need time to rest and also detox as well. I find I don't drink for a long time after festivals. Like if I see even so much as a tiny beer can or smell something, I instantly get like PTSD style gagging.
Get flashbacks to random memories.
It's like, oh no, please God, no. Actually, in more recent years, I've seen some really cool things that I didn't see before. Like, I remember at the 2014 Sonisphere, I saw, or Download, I think it was, can't remember which. There was like eco loos. So like you pay a bit more, or you pay, and instead of going to a portaloo, you go to like an actual fucking toilet. Obviously it was ecological, so it is pretty much just a hole in the ground, but it's like a proper like stool and like a curtain and like, you know, you got privacy and stuff and a seat and somewhere to sit.
Probably more comfortable than like walking into that third day portaloo and you get that hit by that smell which just literally burns your face off.
I've got a tip actually for everyone listening who hasn't been to festivals. Make sure if you're gonna do, I'll just be crude, if you're gonna take a shit, do it at the beginning of the day. Don't do it at the end of a day, because you don't want to go into a toilet after the end of a day at a festival. It will be the worst. Like, I remember, I've never told this story before, but this is, I'll try not to put it graphically, but it's pretty intense. So I had to go for a number 2 or a shit, like, let's say 4 or 5 p.m. on some random second day or something, right? And by the second day, it's pretty brutal in there, and there's people queuing endlessly to go in there, and it's just, I mean, you have to just get over the smell. Like, you just got to come to terms with that. But the standards, shall we say, like I think it's good to bring like lots of, and you know, antibacterial gel with you, maybe some toilet roll if you have it. I don't know, something. Have a little bag with you with some stuff. That's my advice. But I had to basically, because someone had just painted pretty much this this toilet, and I really desperately needed to go, and like, you know, the queues everywhere, and I'd already been queuing for like 45 minutes, so I basically like kind of did an Indian style squat over this toilet, and it was the first time I'd ever done this in my life, and I was able to aim pretty successfully, and there was even toilet roll, which I was kind of surprised by, because I hadn't thought about that. Which I know sounds stupid, but you know, when you desperately need to go, you got to go. You don't think about like, oh, what am I going to wipe my ass with? And it was all fine and successful. And I walked out and I was thinking like, wow, I really don't ever want to do that ever again. But
I think that's the most relatable thing I've ever heard about a festival.
I mean, I think you gotta take an L on the hygiene when it comes to festivals. You got to accept that you're not going to have a proper clean time. You know, I mean, showering, for instance. I mean, there isn't showers unless you go like for the VIP shit. So like, let's say you're just doing standard camping. You've got those things that look like urinals. That's the only way I could put it, really. I mean, yeah, you can fill water up there, and then they've got these, urinal style things where you can kind of shower, I guess. I probably have been in showery type areas at festivals, but I can't even really remember. I just remember those weird fucking things. And I think a lot of the time we would rely on like baby wipes and stuff, and you know, just accept that we're not gonna have a proper shower until the final day. But yeah, man. Anyway.
The wet wipe shower is definitely a thing I've had many times over the years.
Do you have any like horrific stories from festivals? Anything that was just like unbelievable that you just couldn't get over?
Oh, some toilets I've seen. It always comes back to the toilets. Like,
pretty much, yeah.
you always get that random person who will literally paint the walls without going into too much detail. The walls are brown.
How? That's what I wonder.
There's a line between what's mud and what's not, and you open the door and you see it, and the smell hits you.
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
It just makes me wonder that just people just go in there and just wipe their ass on the wall. Like, what the fuck?
I don't know what like brings them to that point in their mind, and they're like, right, I'm gonna do this.
Drugs.
Like, what kind of cocktail of what they've like put in their body?
It's got to be drugs. It's the only thing I can think of. Okay, let's bring it to a more positive place. What's your kind of favourite festival moment of all time?
Oh god, favorite festival moment of all time. There's been some incredible memories at Bloodstock, like over the years, like seeing the same friends over and over again, like where we all like live different parts of the country. It was sort of a stage where no one ever saw each other throughout the year because we just all lived like sort of dotted every corner of the country.
Right.
And it's like that moment of coming back together and seeing each other for the first time after a year apart.
Oh yeah.
And then suddenly you're back into this weird world of festival where nothing really makes sense. It's wonderful.
I know what you mean. It's such a short time because it's like 3 or 4 days, sometimes more if you decide to do that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing as well. Just on a side note, there's like, let's say you go download, you can actually turn up. Like the festival is like from Friday to Sunday, but you can turn up on like a Wednesday, and it will be open for like 2 days, and you can basically just go on the fairground rides, drink, go to silent discos and stuff. For 2 days straight. So it's basically just one giant piss up for 2 days. And like
Doing it that way.
It's weird, isn't it? Like I did it once, but only one day. I think we came on like a Thursday and we did that. But I remember just getting so unbelievably shit faced, and then waking up on the Friday with a hangover and having to go to like on a hangover to watch the bands. And it was like I knew I had to see them because it was like, yeah, I paid all this money, it's a big opportunity, but I just felt so fucking shit.
Have to start over again.
Oh, it's so bad, yeah. And like, yeah, because hair of the dog helps, but I think when it's that bad, plus the weather is you know, killing you in terms of like the sun, you got to have like sugar, lots of sugar. That helps. Sprite, drink Sprite, everyone. But like, is there any particular bands that you saw that blew you away, or like, what are your favorite musicians and stuff?
Oh my god. I've got to say, was it last year at Download when Tool headlined?
Ooh, yeah.
That was such a surreal experience. Like, they came on stage and it was oh my god, like, I don't know how to describe it. It was like we were shifted into a different dimension. Like,
Cool.
you just felt the music.
I know.
And it was a feeling like I've never felt that feeling before at a gig. Like, it was one of those, you know how people talk about gigs from like 20, 30 years ago or whatever?
Yeah.
It felt like one of those gigs that we'll talk about in 20 years' time.
I have to agree with you. I do feel, because I've been to a lot of gigs, I've seen a lot of bands at festivals and just gigs in general, and I could probably name on my hand like a handful that made me feel the way that you're talking, like where it's surreal. I think like one of them was seeing Motorhead play. That was pretty surreal, because they are like, you know, legendary. Yeah, it's like almost couldn't really believe what was happening. And it was also really kind of poignant as well, because like that was 2012 again, and apparently like the day before, someone really close to Lemmy had died. I think it was like a former guitarist. And like when one of your friends die, like the last thing you want to do is be working. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, I know music is obviously like was, you know, his life and like more than a job, obviously. But do you know what I mean? You normally want to take some time for yourself during a time like that. And he obviously dedicated the show to his fallen friend and stuff. But it just made it that much more special, and like was kind of incredible in that sense as well. But yeah, some bands go all out. I've seen Metallica quite a few times, and they've really put on like a spectacle.
They always put on a good show, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the difference, isn't it? Some bands put on like a performance as well as a show, and some bands just come out and just play the music.
It's like with a band like Ghost. They've got that whole stage show. I know they get a lot of hate from the metal community for not being so-called metal.
I don't get the hate. They're so good. I just don't understand the hate. Like
it's one of the elitist things, though, and that's...
Yeah, but it's just nuts. I mean,
it's
like,
good music at the end of the day.
Listen, I understand. Okay, like back in the day, you remember, like I think it was like 2004, 2005. They did a stupid thing. This was the bookers' problem. So whoever booked this download festival, Monsters of Rock, whoever it was, you're a fucking idiot. They booked like Slayer before My Chemical Romance, and famously My Chemical Romance got bottled the shit out of, and they didn't deserve it. You know, it was really horrible and mean. But this is what happens when, you know, you mix certain crowds and stuff. Like at the time, people just didn't want to see that band, and it's happened in more recent years. There was a band called what was the Black Veil Brides, I think they were called.
Oh yeah,
similar thing. They were a metal band. They're actually very good live, actually. Yeah. But yeah, similar thing, and they got pelted with stuff, and it's never nice to see. It's really disrespectful. But it does come to how you book things and how you structure a card. Like you can't mix certain bands because the fans are different. Like, you know, they'll just destroy you. You know,
it's like, especially Slayer and My Chemical Romance, that's like opposite ends of the spectrum of sort of rock and metal music.
It really is, yeah. I mean, like I've played gigs myself where they just didn't book it properly. Like I always famously tell this story of like I was playing a pub show, and it was the only time I'd ever played a pub. I made an exception because it was like an all-day thing.
Yeah.
Sort of like a festival, but it wasn't. But you know, it was an opportunity to play, and we were a metal band. And quite a heavy metal band as well, like screaming and all this stuff. And the band artist before us was a guy playing like a jazz fusion for like 30 minutes at a time, right? So it really wasn't the right kind of vibe. And you had a lot of people in there. Like there were some people our age, but mostly it was like adults, you know, and we were like teens. So not really the kind of... They weren't expecting this. We came on and I saw the look of horror in their faces when I was just screaming down and just scaring everyone, and I loved it. But they were just terrified. And then we came off, and then the band that came on were like a pop band. So,
what?
Yeah, it was just bizarre. I was like, who booked this shit? But, you know, that's what happens, man.
You do get that like a lot with the metal, not the metal industry, the music industry. Like you do get strange bands just appearing randomly on bills.
I mean, it kind of works sometimes, but it depends on the music. You know, like I remember one year they booked Lethal Bizzle, this grime artist, on a metal festival. I think it was possibly Download or Sonosphere, something like that. And everyone was like, "What the fuck? Why would they do this?" And he just came out and was really professional and just fucking killed it. And it was awesome and everyone loved it. And I think it's because he didn't like pretend to be anything. He just came out and he just played a good show and everyone dug it. And the thing is, like, a lot of metal fans and rock fans are fans of hip hop as well. Like there's a lot of crossover. Yeah. There's obviously been collaborations, you know, famously like Run DMC and Aerosmith, or I think again Run DMC and Anthrax. So it's not like there's
Jay-Z in that Linkin Park album as well.
Of course, yeah. That was excellent. But the thing with Linkin Park though was that they were always kind of experimenting with hip hop anyway, so it wasn't like too much of a stretch. Whereas like hearing Run DMC and Anthrax, I mean Anthrax was like a full on thrash metal band, and Run DMC is like this 80s kind of. Oh no, it wasn't. What am I talking about? Rum DMC. It was Public Enemy. My bad. Sorry.
Yeah.
Public Enemy and Anthrax. Yeah. But it kind of works. It has the same kind of intensity, I suppose, and that's why many metal fans tend to like hip hop, especially when it's more heavy, intense stuff. But it's risky. I mean, it can go either way, really, can't it? You know, I think with that Lethal Bizzle one, his tunes at the time were quite experimental, quite hard, so it kind of worked. I don't know. It's luck of the draw.
While we're on that topic, I know a band which is just starting out now. They're called Fear No Empire.
Okay.
So it's do you know Death by Stereo?
I don't think I've heard of them.
So Death by Stereo, like, I don't know how to describe them. Them and a couple of members from Zebrahead.
Oh wow! Yeah.
They're like a rock band. It's like the guy who raps in Zebrahead, and then the guitarist from both bands, and the bassist from Zebrahead, and the drummer from Death by Stereo have made a new band called Fear No Empire.
Cool.
And they're just about to release a new single. So like their first single is coming out in a couple of days, I think.
Oh, mad. Okay.
And like they're going to be a band to watch, 100%.
I think
it's got that same sort of vibe as like Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, really?
Like Let It Live.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible.
Supergroups are so hit and miss, really, aren't they? Sometimes they work really well, like them Crooked Vultures, for instance, was excellent. But then other times it's like, I don't know. Okay, like what was that one? Is it Prophets of something? Prophets of Rage?
Prophets of Rage.
Yeah, it's basically just Rage Against the Machine, but with a different singer, which is fine. I love that. But it's like, I guess with supergroups, you want to kind of hear something different. That's why like Audio Slave worked so well, because it was essentially just a new band, like completely something different. And it felt like big and like, you know, and like, I don't know, I like it more when they really go for it and they make a proper band out of it. Like they don't just do it as a publicity stunt. Like I think the best example I can think of is, oh fuck, what are they called? They played with Avenged Sevenfold one time. Can't remember the name of the band, but it has the singer from Mudvayne in it. And the drummer from Pantera. Fuck, that's gonna drive me crazy now. Say again?
I can picture them, but the name.
You know the band I'm on about. Well, anyway, that band, fuck's sake, they're like 3-4 albums deep. I mean, I don't think they play anymore because obviously the drummer passed away, unfortunately, Vinnie Paul. But they were like 4 or 5 albums in, and they were doing really well. And they were just coming together, and it worked. It was, you know, proper go of it, and I think that's always important with supergroups. So yeah, it's interesting. I think everyone should go check out that band. Sounds promising.
It will be very good. Like I think they posted a snippet of they're releasing the first single, and I just checked it. It's August 19th.
While we're talking about like super groupy type things, have you heard the track by Machine Gun Kelly and Blink 182, or the drummer Travis Barker?
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
I didn't think it was too bad. Like I think Machine Gun Kelly gets a lot of hate for what he does.
I was blown away. To me, it was just like listening to pop punk from the early 2000s. I was just it was like, take me back, man. This is fucking awesome. It's fair play. He just went for it. It's a bit like when you hear Post Malone singing rock songs, like when he did the Nirvana live stream. It was just tight. It was sick.
He have a rock background though, didn't he, Post Malone?
Yeah, he's got a funny story because he was a metalcore guitarist, if I'm not mistaken, and he famously auditioned for a band and was rejected. Like they were like, "Nah, you're not good enough." And then now he's like one of the biggest rappers in the world. So go figure.
Such a random story, isn't it?
It happens to so many people. Do you know? I was randomly check this out. This is different. This is about acting, but I was looking up, Robert Pattinson, the actor.
Yeah, guy from Twilight.
Yeah, yeah. So before he did Twilight, he was in a movie with. It was either a non-speaking role or very few lines, but he basically went to the premiere, and his agent or whoever didn't tell him that his stuff had been cut from the movie. So
Really?
Yeah, so he went to the premiere and he wasn't in it. And I was like, oh my God, fuck. I felt so bad for him. And then apparently like his agent felt so bad that they pushed really hard and got him that role in Harry Potter when he was Cedric Diggory. So I guess it worked out in the end. But imagine that, man. I think that's how it's supposed to be, man. You're supposed to go through shit in life, and then when you become successful, you can just laugh at all the shit that went wrong.
It's all about the process along the way.
Absolutely. Well, it gives you interesting stuff to say, doesn't it? Like, people sometimes say I'm a good storyteller, and I didn't believe that for a long time because A, I can't take compliments very well. I just cringe, and B, I just thought I was just like talking. Like how people normally do. But I think there is a lot to be said for how you communicate a story and sort of putting a positive spin on things as well. Trying to see the humor in your most embarrassing times or most challenging times. But yeah. So
how you learn in the end.
Say that again.
It's how you learn from it in the end and how it shapes you as a person, I guess.
Absolutely. And talking about things that shape you, you made a video about life with ADHD. So talk to us a little bit more about, living with ADHD, how you tackle it, and the impact it's sort of had on your life and sort of the age you were diagnosed with it.
Oh, God. So I was diagnosed when I was 5 years old.
Oh, wow, very young.
Which is many moons ago. And I'm not gonna lie, like life was pretty hellish because of me.
It's tricky, isn't it? Because how old are you now? If
I'm 27.
Yeah, I was the same age as me. Yeah, so in the 90s, it was different back. So like, okay, this is totally different. But let's just say like if you were dyslexic, for example, it wasn't taken seriously or in the same way. And I remember like kids that had ADHD or looked like they had ADHD in the 90s. It's not to say that like it wasn't taken fully seriously, but I don't think it was kind of taken in the same way it is now. And certainly the scientific understanding was not there just yet. But
yeah, so it was what age would I have been? So 5. That's like just before 2000. God, that seems so long ago now.
I know how you feel, man.
It was at a time where there wasn't really much known about it. Mm-hmm. So, like, none of the teachers really knew how to handle it or what was wrong with me. A lot of teachers thought I was just, like, lazy.
Now, that's interesting. Lazy. So it wasn't so much about... because, okay... When I watched that video, one of the things you were trying to get across is this kind of difficulty of paying attention to things. Like your attention diverts to things. So like you gave an example of like you were doing something and then your attention went to some like sound that happened outside the window and you were sort of saying like, this is a regular occurrence. And obviously as a kid, that happens all the time. It's, it's inevitable. So... Is that more because I have a brother who has I think it's either ADHD or a variant of it, and he's just got like a lot of energy, and I've always said that like right now, maybe it's problematic for like his people that are having to deal with him, but when he gets older, it'll be better, and he can channel it into something, and he already does. He does things like ice skating and dancing and stuff, and he's like really really good at it, and he's able to focus himself, but it's still a challenge and. I think understanding and empathy of the people around you is really key in being able to master it and get through it. But so What, like, it wasn't so much a question of like energy then, it was more maybe not
It
being.
was like, and because I was at that age where I didn't really know how to channel it properly, it probably came out more anger side of things than like productivity.
Did you not have like a sort of a assistant that would like maybe help you with things or anything like that?
No, no.
Yeah,
It
see
was
that.
also like I pretty much got excluded from school every year through primary school.
Really?
For a couple of days, I was kicked out of school for
Wow.
getting in trouble with the teachers, that kind of thing.
See,
And it was sort of like a very volatile situation where no one really understood what I had or how to get the best out of me.
so when you got older, like how did it kind of improve, or how did you sort of come to a point where you were able to manage it?
So when I was in like year five, which is I don't know what the equivalent would be for overseas. So
Oh God, no idea. For second grade, first grade, some shit like that.
the one where you do like exams before going off to
Oh,
high school.
what am I talking about? First grade? No. Yeah. Okay. What? Yeah. One of the early grades.
Yeah, when you're young, like sort of 10 years old.
Yeah.
That's the best way to describe it, isn't
Yeah. Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
So I was told I'm not going to get into secondary school, that I wouldn't
What?
get grades.
Okay. Okay. Back up a second. So was this like you did the exams and then you were told this? Is that right?
No, this was year five, and then you're going to like year six where you have your SATs exams.
Right. So instead of reinforcing you and being like, "Hey, if you work hard, we'll work hard with you. We'll help you get there," they were just like writing you off, kind of thing. Like, nah, you're just gonna
Yeah,
fail.
pretty much written off from that point in my life. Yeah,
It's a
like,
problem with bad teachers, isn't it?
and I was pretty much told I wasn't going to get into secondary school. I wouldn't pass any of my exams, that kind of thing. And like, I probably owe a lot of it to like having a good supportive family around me,
Mm. Mm.
especially like my mum. She's incredible.
Nice.
Um, Having that support around me, I ended up getting, I don't know if you remember like grades that kind of far back. I got a 5, 5, and a 4
It's
for
good.
like
Yeah.
English, maths, and whatever the other one was, science, I guess.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting one of the better grades in the class. Like 5 is a very solid grade, pretty much.
Like a, yeah, I can't remember exactly. Is it like a B equivalent or something like that, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I think it was like it generally went up to 6, and then in
Yeah.
some exceptional cases, someone got like a 7. Because I remember getting like a series. I think I got like a couple of 6s, a couple of 5s, some shit like that. I don't really recall.
Yeah.
But like, there were people that got higher than that, and I felt a bit crap about that. But then I realised it didn't matter when you got into high school. Like it just it really doesn't matter. But it matters at the time. Yeah.
And then once we get into secondary school, it was sort of a similar situation where it was like I wasn't going to get any GCSEs or anything like that. It was the same, like being put down by teachers and written off.
Did you get the GCSEs in the end? Did it work out?
I did. I think I got like 9 A star to C's.
Mm. Mm.
For like my notable ones, I got 2 A's in art, which
Hey.
like it's been there from a young age where I've got this like creative streak running through me,
Were
and
they
I've
like?
always
Were they
had
looking
that
at
ability.
you? Were they like, oh, this kid's a prodigy, man?
I think art was the only one who really sort of supported me because they knew I had the ability,
I
and
think
that's
that's
probably why I
key.
excelled with that.
That's key, really, isn't it? Like when you do your best when you've got people that push you. Like I with the failures that I had at GCSE level, there was 4 subjects that I didn't. I got like 8 or 9 A star to C, and the rest were like D's. It's like 4 D's or something. And they were in German, biology, maths, and then some other shit I don't remember. But basically, the point being that the teachers in all of those, except for my biology teacher, that was just a freak. Like, I always did really well in biology. I don't know what happened there, but she was a good teacher. But the rest of them, like my maths teachers, were fucking useless. I remember my maths teacher just sitting there going on and on about her like failed relationship or some shit. It's weird.
Really?
Yeah, and like it was the sort of thing where they would get angry if you asked questions, and given that I didn't understand maths, I would ask questions all the time, and then I stopped asking questions once I realised that the teachers would get angry. So I just kept failing that. And then German, I famously said to the teacher, like, I one time I said to this teacher, like, basically he'd split the class up into people on the left hand side that were going to get A stars and stuff, people in the middle that were like B, C's, and then everyone to the right that's probably going to fail. And we kind of all clocked that we were like the failure lot, because we looked at each other and we were all like, well, what predicted grades are we all on? And everyone understood, and they're like, oh great, so they're just signaling us out. And we really, like, it was really fucked up, man. And like we said to the teacher, look, like, we got a chance of potentially, you know, getting the C. Aren't you going to work with us? Why are you spending all the time on the A star students when they're like surefire to get it? Whereas with us, like, it's not surefire, but like if you push us, we'll be able to get there. And the teacher would just literally just turn around and said like, oh, well, you know, you don't care, you messed around, so, you know, you just lose out. And I was like, screw you, man. Like, bad teacher. And I still, to this day, I won't name you, but my GCSE German teacher, you suck. Because there were subjects like business and English where I had really inspiring teachers who pushed me and motivated me and made me believe in myself. And that's like really the important thing, is you have people around you, because it's so much more than just excelling in the subject. It's having people that will push you and give you like self-esteem, which is something you don't have a lot of when you're a teenager.
Yeah, it's definitely like that inspiration side of things as well. Like, if you've got someone teaching you who's just not really stimulating to you. Yeah, I know I struggled with that a lot when I was in school. I wasn't like mentally stimulated, so I wasn't that interested in being in class, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to that, and the way that they treat you. Like, I remember when I started business, I was in year 9, so I was probably 13, 14, and I was failing, I was doing badly, and one of the particular, shout out to Mr. Nelly, she approached me and she was like, okay, you're not doing well, what do you want? And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, if you could get like any grades right now, or like what would you want to do? And I was like, well, and I sort of jokingly said like, I want to get the top grades, like highest marks possible. And she laughed and she was like, okay, like, but then she went serious. She's like, okay, well, this is what you're going to need to do that. And I was just kind of taken back by that. I was like, oh, okay. And then I just worked my fucking ass off from that point. And I was able to get the highest grades possible that it was on the course for that and A-levels as well. And
it's weird,
say again?
It's weird how that works. Like, when everyone's at that impressionable age where all it takes is a bit of work, motivation, a push, and
yeah, I mean, I think people underestimate how important it is for someone to turn around to you and just tell you, like, hey, you're good at this, you can do this, like, I believe in you, you know. Might sound cringy, but you need to hear that, you know. Like, I remember seeing, like, disruptive kids who were predicted to get, like, E's and shit, who got, like, you know, B's and stuff in their exams because they had people around them that pushed them and said, like, hey, you know, you can do this. And that's the thing, like, even if you are faced with like challenges in life, you know, like a poor home life or disabilities or you know, just whatever, like there's always a way to overcome it, and everyone has different areas that they're talented in, which is why I think school is kind of a flawed concept in general, because it doesn't always foster everyone's talent in the right ways. You know, it kind of punishes people. Like, I think that you should have a basic understanding in areas like English and maths, but if it's understood that, like, from a young age, you know, you're going to be an arts person, then push them really in that sense and just help them just get what they need in the other areas, you know.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. It's a weird place, school.
It really is. It is when you think about it as well. Just in retrospect, you spend years and years with all these people growing up, and then you never fucking talk to them again.
I remember half the people I went to school with, to be honest.
Yeah, like I have them on Facebook. Some of them I talk to once in a blue moon, but ultimately I never talk to them. And it's just like, this is mad. We literally spent every single day of our lives for like 5 or 6 years together. What the fuck?
I suppose everyone goes like down different paths and that, though, don't they?
Yeah, no, that's the beauty of life, isn't it?
Or
Yeah, it's funny like how many of the people I knew from school like just stayed in their hometown, never did anything, never went anywhere, never achieved anything, and then other people that like explored, tried different things, took risks. You know what I mean? Like, and their attitudes as well. Like, it's one thing if you're happy, if you're genuinely happy, then none of that shit matters. But a lot of them are like complaining. And it's like, well, you gotta like take risks. You gotta try different things in life. You know, that's what life is, and it's how you grow. I think in many ways. Like I attribute the person I am now to all the mistakes I've made, and to going to different countries, you know, living abroad, going to university. I've got this mindset now where I'm just up for trying anything and just fucking just giving it my all, because why not? You know what I mean? Like, there's no point being afraid and worrying about like, oh, it might not work out, because like, what if it will work out?
and life's too short to doubt yourself and get stuck on nothingness, if you know what I mean. Like, if you're worrying about the things that could happen, then you'll be there in 20, 30 years time wondering why you didn't do those things.
Exactly. All right, changing it up. Let's talk about your music. Now, you've recently started dabbling with music production. You've released a couple of videos on your channel of just kind of like instrumental style things that you've been doing. And as you've kind of said yourself, it's very much like a new thing that you're just trying out, and you know, you're trying to learn from. So what are your goals with this, and what are the challenges that you've encountered so far with it as well?
I don't know. I just sort of, I'd always been like thinking about it. Obviously, I listen to music pretty much all the time, every day. And I've always been inspired in whatever creative aspect by music. So I thought I'd like, you know, get like a little MIDI keyboard and just have a little dabble and see if I could create anything.
And yeah, what kind of challenges or difficulties have you faced in the sort of learning process?
I mean, like, obviously going into a new program, you have to work your way around it and figure out where everything is.
Yeah, it does take a bit of time, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just one of those things I thought I'd have a little play with. Not like aiming to sort of go anywhere with it. Not like go anywhere with it. I forgot my words.
You're trying to kind of like have a go with it, understand it, see where it could go, see what possibilities are there, and just see where you can take it, kind of thing.
Yeah, just sort of a little like side project to do as another like creative outlet. I know a lot of artists these days express their feelings through music and that kind of thing. Like, when I was growing up, I was quite into guitar, and I probably learned that for probably going on 10 years, I think it was.
Oh wow, playing a long time then.
Yeah, so it was all sort of like through the school years, and then I just like faded out of it when I went into GCSEs for some reason. I don't know why. Like, I've got a guitar here, but
yeah, I was gonna say, do you think you play again? Maybe like incorporate that into the songwriting.
potentially, yeah. Like, if I could learn like my scales and all those kind of things again on the guitar.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff is easy. Do you know what I mean? I think it's more about like the desire to do so. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, with this being a sort of thing that you're trying out just to see where it goes now, I think like more often than not, it will come down to like you sort of saying like, I imagine having some guitar in this track, and then there you are playing guitar again, and you're like, okay, what if I try this chord? And then, okay. Like I learn a lot on guitar just from like listening to other songs and like learning other people's songs, and I sort of incorporate that into my own songwriting. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of musicians that tend to write their own music often don't tend to learn other people's songs, but some people do. So I don't know. Everyone's varied in that sense. But yeah, no, I mean, it certainly sounds like something that you've. It'd be interesting to see what you come up with, basically, moving forward. And
it's trying to find like right balance with that. Obviously, like video making, art, and then work and everything going on.
Well, it's another
balance.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll find the time for it. I mean, it's like another avenue for you. It's another way for you to creatively express yourself and kind of show that, hey guys, here's another thing that I can do. So, but speaking of which, in terms of like projects that you have, do you have any kind of upcoming projects or final thoughts that you'd like to share with us as we draw this podcast to a close?
Yeah, I've got much content on YouTube to come, but I've got a very lot.
Tell
I've probably got about 2 years of content like pre-recorded.
2 years? What do you mean?
Like all my travel videos. I vlogged the whole of my trip.
Oh shit! Okay.
But I never uploaded and edited it. I sort of go through this weird stage where I record all my content, but then I never edit it. So there's like a stack of like endless videos.
It can be a pain in the ass, but I definitely think that your audience would want to see that. I mean, there's probably so many gems there that would really, especially now, do you know what I mean? With us being locked away, it's a good kind of time to like show, hey, look, this is what one day we'll be able to see again. Like there's a world beyond our front living room.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's the perfect time to release all the travel stuff. I think people, especially people who travel quite often, would be missing that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Giving them that content now, even 2-3 years on, it seems so weird that it's been that long already. But
well, I'm sure that all of your fans will be really excited to see that, and whatever else is there any other styles of content that are coming out or major things that you're working on right now?
With Adhd as well, that's going to be hopefully getting more products in store. Excellent. New designs coming soon.
That's fantastic news. How soon do we reckon those will be out for everyone listening?
The videos or
both? Yeah, the videos and Adhd merch. I've
got a video obviously in progress on Premiere at the moment, which I've been editing up. That's almost ready to drop. I might drop it later today or tomorrow.
I will just say this video will be coming out in a couple of weeks' time, so there is that.
Oh well, that video is probably already out then.
And it means that you'll already be watching it, guys, and you'll be like, oh wow, this was an amazing video. I'm glad that watched it. So this is like talking to the future, I guess.
Yeah.
Now it's in the past. Yeah. Fuck.
Everyone can check out the channel if they want to and come join the community.
Absolutely. I want to say a big thank you for agreeing to be on the show. It's been a real pleasure learning about you and your life and everything that you do. And to everyone listening on Spotify, listening on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, I think we're on now, Breaker, everywhere else, and YouTube, of course, as well. Please make sure to go and subscribe to Project Zeb. He has a lot of fantastic content, and he's uploading very regularly as well. And he's just a very interesting guy, very creative guy. Lots of excellent stuff that he's putting out, and I think the sky's the limit with this guy. He's really moving forward in a positive way, and I think you'll be definitely at 1,000 subscribers very, very soon. I can see that. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's my next main goal. Where it seems to have suddenly hit the point where it's moving.
Yeah, it goes in stages, really, doesn't it? I find the same with mine. It's kind of slowed down at the moment, but it's slowly picking up and stuff. But again, like it's like we said earlier, I'm focusing more on the core audience now, and making the good content, and yeah, the numbers will come, they'll come. But
yeah, I mean, that's what it's about, having fun with it and putting out stuff people want to see.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, listen, thanks again. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, and yeah, to everyone listening at home, thank you so much for listening to the Christian Reeve podcast. The support so far has been excellent. As I always say, I've really been enjoying doing all of these interviews. It's definitely my favorite part about it. And to anyone that wants to appear on the Christian Reeve podcast, please get in touch with me. I would love to have you on the show. I would love to get to know you, to give you a platform to showcase yourself, show yourself to the world, pump all your projects out, or even if you just want to come and shoot the breeze and have fun and just have a chat, you're more than welcome. I would love to have you on the show. So yeah, thanks for listening. And until next time, I bid you adieu.